next expert is Engle Brotherson. Amy is a motivational and professional speaker. Through years of study and formidable experiences, Amy has developed her own unique and emotional perspective to adversity, strength, and compassion. Studying social work, psychology, and behavior allows her to help you understand your patterns. Her passion is helping more people identify and utilize their strengths to empower their own lives. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage our next expert,
Thank you, everyone. I want to start off by asking a question. How many of you remember being 17? Yes, everyone's hand went up. Good. For some of you, it may have been a while. For others, it may feel like yesterday, right? But I remember 17 being a time, well, for most people, it's a time when they're thinking about what college they want to go to, what career they want to seek out. They're worrying if that cute boy or that cute girl is going to give them the attention they want, right? And they also were busy making memories their senior year of high school. But my experience was a little different. My parents divorced, went through a very difficult divorce when I was 17. My dad got a job promotion, and he moved 4 hours away. My mom did her best, but the difficulty of the divorce and suddenly becoming a single mother was very overwhelming for her. And anxiety and depression started to set in, and she felt like the best option for her was to attempt to take her own life. And I remember the night that she went to the hospital. I got a call from my dad, and he told me to tell my brother and sister to pack their suitcases and to go to my grandmother's home, to go stay with my grandmother so she could take care of us. And so I did that. I told my brother and sister, go get your bags, we're going to go to grandma's. And my brother was 15 at the time, and he turned around and, it's not cool to go stay at grandma's house when you're 15 years old, right? And I remember my younger sister was about 11 years old, and she looked at me, and she said, Amy, we lost Dad, we lost Mom. I don't want to leave my house too. And I realized that I didn't want to leave my house too. And so I determined in that moment, I made the decision that we weren't going to leave. I was going to do everything I possibly could to help my family live the normal life we'd been living. And I did. I made sure we got to school, we got to church, we got to extracurricular activities. I made sure there was food in the house, dinner on the table, and that the bills were paid. And it was hard. And I remember I didn't like all the emotion that I was starting to experience. And 3 months later, my mom was released from the hospital, and I was thinking, oh, finally some relief. She'll be here to help me do all these things, and I can kind of go back to being a teenager. But when she got home, she was still struggling with anxiety and depression. It hadn't gone away like I thought it would. And so I ended up having to help take care of her as well as taking care of my family. And so I reached out to family members and friends seeking support, and they did the best they could, right? They told me, you need to understand this, or you need to understand that. Understand your mother's perspective or your father's perspective, or here's some advice, let's fix it, right? And that was all great, and I appreciated it, but it wasn't what I needed. And so after, as I was going to college and to graduate school, I started learning about therapy, about psychology, and I learned all these incredible things like cognitive behavioral therapy, how we have our thoughts, feelings, and actions, and they're all connected, and they all influence each other. And then you have dialectical behavioral therapy, where it talks about how we can experience two things at the same time. You have, I still can experience love for my parents and their appreciation for them, but also be angry at them at the same time. And that was okay, and there was space for that. And then you have something like ACT, or acceptance and commitment therapy, where our emotional existence is like a game board, right? And we set up all these chess pieces, and we have, for some reason, we choose to make them fight each other. We have the unpleasant emotions over here, and the pleasant emotions over here, and we're just fighting and we're fighting and we're fighting. But that's not how life works. All those emotions are part of us. And so we have to accept all those pieces and their purpose in our lives. And then I learned about play therapy. Play therapy is for kids, okay? And we use play because kids don't always have words. They can't always articulate their emotion and their experiences.
Right.
And so I remember learning about a type of therapy called play therapy, where you do activities with your parents or with a caregiver that help you connect and attach. And then I learned about child-centered play therapy, where you do therapy without giving the child any instruction. They're allowed to go into the playroom, use the toys, and you sit, as a therapist, you sit with them, and you let them play out what they've experienced. And you don't have to say anything. Sometimes they tell you what to do, right? Kids love to tell adults what to do because it doesn't happen very often. But you sit with them and let them experience their emotion and experience what they went through. And that's what they needed. And I realized in that moment that that's when I started to heal. My heart started to heal. And so I chose to be happy. That was one thing I observed as I was a teenager.